Welcome back to the Pats Podcast. I'm your host, Philip Hensler, and together, we're going to explore different facets of athletic training, our colleagues, and their stories. So stick around. Let's be better athletic trainers. Welcome back to the Pats Convention. I have Cecilia Yost, one of our former Pats presidents, and in fact, I believe you were the first female Pats president that we've had.
Yes.
So thank you for stopping by. I'd love to hear more about your story, how you got into athletic training, where your career's taken you. You're retired now, correct?
Yes, I am retired.
I would absolutely love to hear your account on how you've seen the profession change throughout the years, and what your take on the most important aspects of being an athletic trainer, and what's the most we can do for our athletes. What's the most important part from your career as an educator, as an athletic trainer? What's like a nice take home?
Okay, so starting at the beginning, 1977, I first got certified, and my first job was Stroudsburg High School in northeastern Pennsylvania. And I was the first athletic trainer at the school. So one of my big jobs was to educate all the coaches about who I was and what I do and what I don't do, and the athletes and also the parents. And I really love educating students about what their injury is and being, they're compassionate, but as well as, caring for the injury and then rehabilitating and just helping them through that whole process.
Letting them know what to expect, what to go on, how they should be feeling, and just kind of easing them through the whole process.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I really enjoy that. I just like getting to know them and having them comfortable with, okay, you are injured, but this is what's going on, and this is what's going to happen, and you're going to get better.
And then that transitioned for you into a faculty position.
Yes. So when I came out of East Stroudsburg University, I had a degree in teaching as well as my athletic training. And so I also taught half of the day, and I was athletic trainer the other half of the day. And what I taught in the school was at the high school, I taught a first aid athletic training class, which I wrote the curriculum at level 1 and level 2, and they got certified in first aid and CPR. But then they also learned about ankle injuries, knee injuries, shoulder injuries, head injuries. And a lot of athletes took the course. I had students who were not athletic but were really interested in pursuing an allied health career. And it was just an enjoyable class. And the kids enjoyed it, and I enjoyed teaching it.
That's awesome. That's one thing I've noticed is that whole educating your athlete on their injury. Some athletes are into it. Some are like, no, Phil, just get me back on the field.
Yeah.
But the ones that really get into it, I love working with because they get invested in the rehab. They get invested in their bodies. So now they're understanding how we function as a human, our anatomy and how everything works. And they go on to be, honestly, I think better athletes.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
They're more in tune with what they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So, when did you start volunteering with Pats? When did you start getting involved?
I started getting involved. I was a member, and I came to meetings, and I really didn't know anybody, but I met some people, and I got involved in the early 80s. Okay. And I was the membership chair.
Okay.
And that involved putting information into a computer, but this is an early computer.
That's like back in the Commodore 64 days.
It was actually an Atari.
Okay.
That was the computer I had. Yeah, this is like ancient stuff. Right. I don't have a computer anymore. But and I had another local person help me, an athletic trainer help me, Frank Tatusco, who has unfortunately passed away, but he was a wonderful person and great athletic trainer, and he helped me, and we'd come to the meetings, and so that's how I got started. And then I met Mark Kepler and Denny Clark, and then Dennis Clark is the one who encouraged me to run to be president. And so it was everybody's support along the way, and John Thatcher, he was treasurer of Pats for a while, and he encouraged me, and next thing you know, I was running for president, and I was was president in 1990.
1990. Awesome. What were the big kind of hot topics back then?
Oh, getting licensure.
Licensure.
That was we were working towards that.
And we didn't get licensure because I remember when I was certified, it was still certification. Licensure didn't come till what, 09, 10?
Oh, you're testing me now. I don't remember.
So it's been that long, hard process to get
Yeah,
licensure.
It has been. It has
Okay.
been. There were a lot of, you had to get the doctors behind you. The doctors were behind us for the most part, but then you had to get the physical therapists, and those were some hurdles along the way. And so we finally got it. I think it was either John Hoth's tenure as president or Greg Janik.
It was right around the time I was certified, and I was doing so much. I don't even think I would have realized it when I renewed.
Well,
Those first few years, I went hard.
some people have it, those dates seared into their mind, but I do not, so I apologize.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
How has the profession changed over your tenure?
Well, the profession, it certainly has grown, and there's gotten to be more females, and we've gotten more athletic trainers in the high schools, which is really important for student athlete care. And I think it's become stronger as far as science base,
Okay.
and the evidence-based research has helped, and but the bottom line is we're still caring for the athletes, and that part hasn't changed,
Right.
But it's just that we have more resources at our fingertips, I think.
Awesome. Being the first female PATS president, and I mean early on in the 80s, there weren't very many female athletic trainers. Were there any hurdles, or what did you have to overcome? How difficult? I can't imagine how difficult that could have been.
Well, I think I was naive. Well, I know I'm naive. I still am, but naive to the fact that I was going to have hurdles. But I knew my job, and I knew my responsibilities, and educating the football coaches, educating those of that generation that maybe had a little narrower view about women and sports injuries, and that was a big hurdle. And but the big thing was I had a really strong athletic director who enforced this is the job of the athletic trainer, and if she says that athlete cannot play, that's it. It's done deal until a physician says
Right.
until they come back with a note saying. So if she says no, then so that really helped. If I didn't have a strong athletic director, then it would have been a much harder job.
That's in my experience, a strong athletic director is worth their weight in gold.
Yeah.
That just it kind of heads off the battles that don't need to happen.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It allowed us to do the job that we were hired to do.
Plus, then you have your coaches buy into the program more, and they're more active in their athletes' rehab and return to play, and more engaged in with the athletic trainer. And honestly, I think those programs do better because of it.
Yeah. So one time I had to use this line with my football coach. I said, listen, I'm not telling you what play to call in football. So you're not going to tell me how to take care of my athletes' injuries.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like it.
I had to get a little feisty.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you really do.
Yeah. So. Yep.
So, retired now.
Yes, I am retired.
Hobbies?
Well, I love to play tennis.
Okay.
And so I retired in 2013
Okay.
from the school, and then a year later, the head tennis coach said they needed an assistant. And I said, I love to play tennis. I don't know about coaching. She said, Seal, you're a teacher. You can do this. So now I'm coaching. I'm assistant tennis coach at the high school I retired from. But I love
Couldn't
it.
stay away long.
No,
Couldn't stay
no.
away long.
I
it.
love the kids, and they're just wonderful to work with. And I still play tennis. I play USTA tennis because it's levels. You have a certain level, and I play within my level. I've improved, but yeah. So that's what I love to do. I love to garden and play tennis, and come to meetings. I'm thrilled to be here this year so that I can see all my athletic trainer friends that I
Yep.
haven't seen because of COVID. So it's
I
wonderful.
know. This is awesome to
Yeah,
be back at
it's
at like a
wonderful.
legitimate in-person convention.
Yeah, really enjoy it. So that's what I've been up to.
So here's a deep take. What does being an athletic trainer mean to you?
What does it mean to me? Well, first of all, my greatest love is athletic training as far as a profession. Just being compassionate, caring, but at the same time knowledgeable, and using those skills to help that athlete get better, improve.
I love it.
So.
I love it. I love that answer.
I don't know. It's off the top of my head. That's,
No, I think that's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
I think that's awesome.
What's it mean to you?
Advocacy. Being
yeah.
the advocate for your athlete. We are their voice,
Yeah.
especially when you're working with, I mean, anywhere from pro to our youth athletes. Being that voice of
I
reason.
love that advocate.
Yeah. Making sure that they are getting the care that they need, and that's what's best for their goals.
Yeah.
And that was always my favorite part of the profession.
I love it. Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome.
Perfect.
I have one more question,
Oh,
and it is, where do you think the profession is headed? So from where you started in the 70s and 80s to when you retired, where do you see it heading? Where do you see the profession in 10 years?
wow. There's still student athletes that aren't being cared for. So I think just the full reaching, when you look across the United States and then you look at Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania has incredible athletic trainer presence. So I see it reaching those that are unserved. And again, the tools and then the scientific basis for why we do what we do. It's just improving.
I'd love to see more athletic trainers in more schools.
Yeah, I
It
would.
would be, especially more of the rural schools.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
'Cause I know those are hard to find candidates for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. The funding for that, this
Yes.
with budget cuts and all of that. So, yeah, it's hard.
Well, I appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you so much.
so much for sharing your story.
Yeah.
I
Thank
love
you.
hearing the stories about where we were, how we transitioned to where we are now, and what the take is on the future. Because I mean, I only got into the field in 2006. That was the first year I was certified, and I know it was different in the past, but sometimes to grow, we have to know where we started.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your story, and thank you so much for
Thank
all
you.
of your service to athletic training.
Okay, thank
and
you.
with Pats.
Thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, enjoy the rest of the convention. Hope you see
Okay.
some more friends.
Yes.
And take care.
Looking forward to that.
Well, this brings us to the end of another fantastic episode of the Pats Podcast. If you liked what we did here, please remember to like and consider subscribing to the episodes. Leave a comment if you have any questions, or you want to hear any topics, or if you want to become involved in helping with the podcast. Until next time, I'm Philip Hensler, and this was the Pats Podcast.